Hello, my astrology friends. This is Zelada from Astrolada.com. And today, my guest is Sidereal astrologer Krasi Atasio, who will lead us uh, through the 12 signs for the month of July. Hello, Krasi.
Hello, Wada. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Yes, we will be speaking about July and two very important events. We will look at the 12 ascendants as usual from sidereal and tropical perspective, and we will see how these important events will influence the 12 ascendants. The first one is already known. This is Uranus, who just entered sidereal Taurus. This happened on the 18th of June. And the second one, which everyone finds even as more important, is the retrograde motion of Saturn. Very important situation, the retrograde motion of Saturn. I will speak a little bit longer on Saturn, less on Uranus, because in the previous two videos we spoke a lot about Uranus, and this will be a repetition.
Everyone finds.
But we'll consider both of them as major players now. Now, Saturn is turning retrograde on the 29th, 30th of June to be retrograde until 15th of November. Before we look at Saturn, just to mention, specifically Saturn influences people really differently in the two extreme directions, because Saturn can be very good and Saturn can be very difficult. Good Saturn, of course, is the one which would be placed, let's say, in the signs which he's ruling, exaltation, in a good house, good aspects to the ascendant, and many other options. The good Saturn is usually giving growth, career growth, rank. The evil Saturn can be really bringing misery, troubles, disease, and whatnot. So it really depends how Saturn is placed in your natal chart. So when we look now at the 12 ascendants on Saturn, I will give you the main indications, but you really need to consider your own placement. This is very important.
Aren't
So,
you reading? You said that you're offering with a nice discount a reading on Saturn. So it's gonna be like a normal reading for the chart, but you're gonna
yes.
analyze Saturn and how it's retrograde motion, whether it's gonna be more difficult.
Yes, because people fear Saturn the most. My readings usually make the overview of the horoscope, major future events, and of course now we'll emphasize a little bit more on Saturn, Uranus, eclipses, and so. Um, so Saturn, first of all, Saturn, as you know, he's quite predictable in terms of his nature, because Saturn is the lord of karma. We know he rules he's the lord of time as Kronos. We know he's this people we know this. He's ruling tears. He's ruling discipline, high morals also belong to Saturn, especially when he's well placed. When he's turning retrograde, there are a few ways to approach his influences, and I'll tell you what are the main ways to approach his influences, and I'll tell you which I consider to be really more impactful. For example, when he's turning retrograde, logically he's watching towards the previous sign. So, for example, if he becomes retrograde on your ascendant for Aquarius, sidereal Aquarius ascendant, he would be also having impact on the previous sign, which would be the 12th sign, the 12th house, where you may a little bit have delay or things solved. Also, of course, when Saturn is retrograde, yes, he slows down events, not necessarily for bad, would be for the better. And also, he's very influential. We need to know this because he's very near Earth. The third detail is that it is, the beginning of his cycle is also very important, and he will be 5 days stationary. And this is the beginning of the cycle, which shows more or less how the whole cycle will look like. And this is just at the exit of the end of the waters, which the waterman is pouring. Water is memory. Water is knowledge. Water is spirituality. Water is Amazing amount of knowledge, abundance of knowledge in spirituality. Water also is, I heard recently, and I never realized that, water is portal. Water is portal. Portal for change, portal for your benevolent change, if you want. So,
So Saturn is turning retrograde on the sacred degree at the waters of the water bearer. Where
yes,
would
yes.
that mean that Saturn blocks that energy? Or if you're ruled by Saturn like Aquarius or Capricorn, it's the opposite. They become a
Yes,
source of
maybe,
knowledge.
I think water, he is making us stay in the water, revise knowledge, revise your philosophy, revise your belief system, revise your even past karma, revise, fix. Think about this, slow down. It's an opportunity because he's turning us back into the waters, which is the abundant, amazing chance for knowledge, for maybe not always good, but the result is always good. In some charts, a little bit harder because, let's say again, the same example. If this is your ascendant, he's activating the 12th house. He's activating a little bit of health matters that you, through knowledge, information, will solve, for example. So it's a chance, but the process in some charts will be less uh, less easy than in the other charts. This is how I see it. Um, the other thing is for example, in the Vedic astrology, they would say the Saturn who makes to three houses aspects, but when he turns direct, for example, when he makes aspect to the 10th house, he will have impact also on the ninth. Honestly, I checked this. To me, this is a little bit weak. Like, I don't see very, very strong impact on this, but people may consider this approach if they want, if they study or work with astrology. For me, this is a little bit weak. I'm aware of this approach, like the three houses which he influences, and then to look at the previous ones too. But I think this is a little bit weak. So this is another way of looking at Saturn. Of course, he is considered malefic planet. This is so. Saturn, Mars, Uranus, Pluto considered malefic planet. That's why to reach wisdom, high morals, uh, you he's really the tough guy who's teaching us that. So also when he's retrograde, being malefic, it is also believed his nature is changed to better. From malefic, retrograde, it's a shift. So in some charts, in most of the charts, I think I've never seen him so evil being retrograde. I'm quite positive, my own opinion. I've seen charts of very successful people with retrograde Saturn. Very. People who really say, "Oh, I'm pleased with my Saturn. He never gave me hard lessons." Retrograde. Maybe because when he's retrograde from very malefic, he becomes less malefic. This is one approach which I think fits according to my personal experience too. So yes, he turns retrograde. He's starting with what we just said, these waters, Eridanus. People should benefit from this. Exactly. Revising wherever he is in your chart, wherever he's transiting, and we'll see now in the 12th house, we'll give some information. Revise this area of your life, like take this chance which Saturn is giving you. If you remember, while he was retrograde every year, 5 months, we never, this was not the hardest periods of our lives. He was not retrograde when the situation with the disease started. No, he was not. He was retrograde much later, just to make you uh, think. But he is making us revisit what he means in the chart, in your chart. Revisit. This isn't like, it's like to resit the exam. Is it bad? No, it's a chance. This is how I personally see that. Of course, small detail, but not very small. Saturn and Uranus will form square. You will say it's not exact. It's not exact. Uranus is in Sidereal Taurus. Saturn is in Sidereal Aquarius. They form square by signs. Not very hard, but it's a square, which means that it's like we'll be enforced to a degree to find the right path, say symbolically for ourselves. This is the way I really see this square. Not exact, yes. Saturn will be in the 25th degree, Uranus is in the first degree, so it's really 22, 3 degrees of distance. It's a large square, but in the ancient astrology, it is also considered square. I know in the modern, we have a little bit different approach to the aspects, but in the ancient, this is still, not very harmonious. So we'll be pushed to change, but to get on the right path, different for each one of us, but still to get on the right path. So this is briefly, on how I see Saturn and in the different horoscopes. Yes, of course, he influences different houses. So obviously, this will be some things maybe slowed down. Let's say he is passing through your eighth house. This is gains from partnerships or gains from your partner. And then you expect some deals to come through or contracts, agreements to sign. You may experience delay to revisit, to recheck whether this is the right contract for you, whether this is the right agreement. You have to revisit. So this is a little bit also now the situation. Delay, massive delay.
Massive. What about is anything else interesting happening in July as well?
Venus was becoming, see, I forgot. Venus is becoming visible. She may, in some areas, very last degrees of Venus is becoming visible. 1 second, I forgot, see the date. Yeah, in July, very last degrees, Gemini, beginning of Cancer. And she's becoming visible as an evening star. This is major. Yeah, see, good you reminded me, Wada. This is very good. Like when I was telling last time, oh, Venus is invisible, not good for marriages, not good for launching business. Now is a chance. Venus, when she becomes visible, this is really something to use. Yeah, this is the most important, actually, event for chance for beauty procedures, marriages, love, relationships. And this is important because maybe people who know are waiting to start their business, to start their new projects. So Venus will be very helpful, of course, in this. And the retrograde motion of Saturn is certainly not afflicting this, no.
No, I started my business. I launched it with Saturn retrograde, and it's been
No,
very
of
good.
course. I also think it's okay. When I was just recently making an election for business for somebody, I saw Saturn retrograde. I thought, no, this is not a problem.
Mhm.
I was considering, of course, the fact that he's watching towards the previous sign, not as strong as he's influencing his current sign, but he does. He influences a little bit the previous sign. This we can take into consideration. Yes. Maybe we start, Wada, with the 12 ascendants one by one. Okay, so we are starting as usual with Sidereal Aries or Moon in Aries, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Taurus. Again, if you don't know the time of birth, you can always start your horoscope from the position of the moon. This is also very powerful. So people who have sidereal ascendant Aries, now Mars is transiting on your ascendant. This is not bad. Mars is your ruler. Mars is ruling your, he is ruling the ascendant. He can give you good energy, courage, energy to start sports or something good, drive. Um, Venus is becoming visible in your third house, chance for media work, for travel, and so. Now, the retrograde Saturn is on your 11th house. You may need to revise and you may have a little bit of slowdown financially, especially when it comes to career projects. You may need to slow down, revise, and check everything. There you may have a little bit the delay. Communication with children, be a little bit more attentive with children, and Saturn may show you your real friends, the true friends. You may see the true faces of people. This is when Saturn will be transiting in this house. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Taurus or moon in Taurus, or tropically, this is Gemini. For you, the change is big. Jupiter, Uranus are on your ascendant. Major importance already, because 7 years you have Uranus on your ascendant to bring great change in your personal choices, plans. He may influence a little bit your relationship. You may be intuitive, careful in your romantic life, more loving, maybe more forgiving, and so. Saturn is turning retrograde on your 10th house to slow down or influence or on certain processes in your workplace. Could be that he makes you change work, career, and he's watching towards the 9th. He will show you studies, knowledge, travel, communication, you know, important matters, new studies, new classes, all this because he will be emphasizing on the 9th house. Could be that you choose another spiritual study or another classes or so. This is, anyway, with Uranus solely on your ascendant, you are starting a great, important for yourself change. And now let's look at people who have sidereal Gemini ascendant or moon in Gemini, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this is Cancer. For you, Venus appears heliacally for the first time on your ascendant. This is blessing. This is good chance for relationships in general, friendships, for personal plans which may be blessed, for this is just you feel well, like it's a matter of well-being. In addition, Saturn turns retrograde on your 9th house. He's pointing also toward the eighth house, 9th house studies. He may make you revisit study. Let's say you abandon certain study and you Saturn is saying no, take another look. Or certain philosophy or travel or pilgrimage or spiritual travels, or Saturn will have impact on this. Also, he can make you revisit and choose the right philosophy for yourself, the right religion. He is activating 8th house. Well, this is about secret knowledge, finances from partnerships. There you may experience small delay. Finances which you may need, which you expect to receive from unexpected sources. There you may have a little bit of delay. He may activate fears. Don't worry so much. I mean, this is matter of perception, especially this second influence, of the planet. And now let's look at people who have sidereal ascendant Cancer or moon in Cancer. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Leo. For you, Saturn turns retrograde on your 8th house, influencing and making you revise financial matters, especially money from partnerships, the money of your partner, finances from unexpected sources like court cases, like any insurances, whatnot. There you may need to revise things financially. He's emphasizing on the 8th house. He's watching towards the 7th. He may slow down a little bit agreements, contracts. He may test a little bit your romantic life, relationships, but he will reveal great secrets to you. Also, you have Uranus and Jupiter on your 11th house, and this is not a bad thing. Changes financially, you may also have changes in your social life, friendship, social circle. Be a little bit more attentive and careful with children. They may annoy you a little bit too. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Leo or moon in Leo, or for the modern tropical astrology, this would be Virgo. For you, Saturn is transiting through your 7th house, turning retrograde there. You already know very well what his impact on your life is. 7th house, probably he's testing a little bit your romantic life, your relationships, agreements, maybe you have matters, he activated matters related to justice, court cases, and so. When he turns retrograde, he may test a little bit more your relationship, but he will also give you the chance to fix things, to revisit agreements, legal matters, and so. In addition, he's also watching towards the 6th house. And in the 6th house, actually, be a little bit more responsible for your health, slow down. There you may have in the routine, in administration, a little bit of slowdown, but you're already experiencing important changes because of the presence of Uranus on your 10th house. So important changes ahead related to career, your major plans, your projects, and so. And this is not necessarily bad. Now we look at people who have Sidereal ascendant Virgo or moon in Virgo. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Libra. For you, now Saturn turns retrograde on your 6th house, emphasizes on your routine, on health, abundance of information, of knowledge which you can receive related to your job, to your routine, everyday environment. He may help you revisit and find solutions related to disputes and arguments and hidden enemies. You may have things reactivated, but then he can give you the solution. Health-wise, be a little bit more responsible for yourself. He is watching towards the 5th house. Be attentive and careful with children, but you may have a little bit delay in the artistic world of yours. Like you can say, oh, I have no muse, but then you may, exactly, the remedy would be really to revisit what you're actually doing. Maybe you can discover new talents. Maybe you can discover amazing creative knowledge for yourself. So this could be actually interesting transit for you in retrograde motion of Saturn. And now we look at people who have sidereal Libra ascendant or moon in Libra, or for modern tropical astrology, this is Scorpio. Saturn turns retro on your 5th house, impact on gains, talents, creative knowledge. You may have good results related to, exactly this creativity, revisiting, revisiting your business and gains, revisiting study. Maybe you can say, no, I started 10 years ago this study, but I didn't finish. I want to get back to this. This could be very good. Then Saturn is watching towards the 4th house, home situation, real estate, property. A little bit of delay is possible there. And also be more attentive, careful with your parents, more, yes, kind and so on. In addition, Uranus is aspecting, Saturn and Uranus form aspect from your 8th house. This is very much related to finances, especially finances of partner. There you may experience changes. But in general, Saturn is already in the house of gains, which is the 5th house, the house of the good karma. And when he's retrograde, also these matters you may revisit in order in the future to have new financial means for new financial opportunities. So he's an opportunity. We look at people who have now sidereal ascendant Scorpio or moon in Scorpio. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Sagittarius. For you, Saturn is turning retrograde on your 4th house. He can make you revisit home situation, may slow down a little bit sale of property, may slow down these matters, may also make you revisit deals exactly with property. Be a little bit more attentive with parents. Saturn may also test your romantic life, your relationship, also because he's forming aspect with Uranus on your 7th house, who already is playing important role to test, to bring changes in your romantic life. When he's in the 4th house, Saturn, he's watching towards the 3rd. So some small delays in commercial work, in travel, in communication with brothers and sisters, in your studies are possible. So get a little bit more organized in order to get good results. And now we have people who have sidereal Sagittarius ascendant or moon in Sagittarius. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Capricorn. Now for you, Saturn is turning retrograde on your 3rd house, revisiting studies, knowledge, philosophy, also related to courage, like what to dare, for example, to undertake important action for yourself, revisit these emotional barriers, for example, that you have. Saturn can help you revise relationship with brothers and sisters and fix them. It's very good. He is also very stable for you because he, in general, not as retrograde, but he's trine in the seventh house, and Venus becomes visible on the seventh house. And this is blessing on your relationship, on relationships, on agreements. In addition, Saturn watches towards second house of yours. Small financial delay is possible, so be more disciplined, careful to make things work. He is aspecting Uranus in your sixth house, so changes in your routine, approach to health are possible, and be more responsible for your health. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Capricorn or moon in Capricorn. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Aquarius. For you, Saturn is on your second house. He rules your ascendant, so he's super important for you. And he's turning retrograde on your second house, directly related to finances, revisiting your financial situation, ways of making finances, revisiting your family routine situation, maybe going back to your roots, to your family members. Saturn will bring changes there. He can also help you fix disputes and arguments with family members. Saturn is aspecting fifth house, creative knowledge, studies. Maybe you're already considering new study. Maybe you're open to new knowledge or discovering new talents. In addition, also new ways of making money. Quite financially, Saturn is influencing you now, and also Uranus is influencing you in the same direction. In the meantime, when he watches back, he's looking towards your ascendant. So you will generally, in general, slow down a little bit your plan, your projects, but don't worry. This slowdown is probably very important for you to make the right decisions for your future. So this is certainly not a bad thing. And yes, of course, be more patient in your romantic life with your partner. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Aquarius or moon in Aquarius, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Pisces. Saturn is turning retro on your ascendant. And this is very important because it has to do with you. Like this is general slowdown, maybe to reconsider, to take the right decisions. Maybe you totally take another course of action for your projects, for your career. Also relationship-wise, he may make you reconsider in a good sense, maybe to fix relationship or just to say, I'm stopping, for example. So he makes you rethink, he tests you a little bit yourself, your patience, your relationship. So it's important IQ test, I would say. In addition, Uranus is on the fourth house, and it both can influence your home situation. Be a little bit more attentive and kind with parents. In the meantime, this may influence change in your in property, activate property activities, business, home situation. So this is very important. And Venus becomes visible on your fifth house to bring you blessing on talents, on creative knowledge, on some finances. Saturn watches back towards 12th house. Be careful with your health. Some small delay is possible, and later you most probably you'll get the solution. You may have great knowledge related to your health or to health in general, or solve matters with enemies. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Pisces or moon in Pisces, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Aries. For you, Saturn is transiting through your 12th house, and there he turns retrograde. Saturn in the 12th house actually is important. When retrograde, he may make you revisit your health. Like, are you on the health path for yourself? Do you have enough health information? This also, he can make you revisit tempo and work more on your spirituality. This is your hidden place. It's all about you inside, very intrinsic influence. Saturn also influences your 11th house. Small slowdown financially before you find the right way, for example, to generate finances. He may slow down matters related to your plans. He may change, make you revisit your social circle friendships and be responsible for your health. Make sure that you really give attention to health information In addition, Uranus is transiting through your third house, and this is important change because together with Saturn, they team in order to help you with the knowledge to be on your right spiritual path. Changes exactly related to relationship with brothers and sisters, spirituality, knowledge, studies, education. So more or less, Wada, this is for the 12 ascendants. I hope this is a period of opportunity for everyone and not fears and not worries.
Thank you so much, Krasi, for the positive forecast. And if anyone wants to connect with Krasi again, she's offering a promotional reading with a nice discount. I'll put a link below in the description if you'd like a personal reading with Krasi. Thank you so much for your knowledge, Krasi.
Pleasure.
Thank you everyone for joining us. Have a blessed